But it worked on my machine. When was the last time you heard that phrase? What if I showed you how to make that a thing of the past? What if I told you there's a way to revolutionize your microservices development and simplify your workflow? Imagine having a streamlined way to set up and manage your local development environment, allowing you to focus on what really matters, writing code. That's where DevZero comes in, a powerful tool designed to simplify and enhance microservices development. In this video, we'll take a closer look at how DevZero can transform your microservices development and show you exactly how to get started. Let's go. Let's learn about the challenges of local development for microservices. The first is resource limitations. Running multiple microservices locally can quickly exhaust your resources, your CPU, your memory, your storage, making it hard to replicate production scale and performance. The second challenge is complex setup. Each service may require different dependencies and environments, making local setup time-consuming and prone to compatibility issues. There's also inconsistent environments. Differences between local and production setups often cause the works on my machine problem, leading to unexpected issues in deployment. And then slow feedback loop. Changes in one service often require restarting others, slowing down development with long build and restart times. Finally, scaling challenges. Your local machines can't mimic real-world scale, making it difficult to test performance and scalability effectively as you increase the number of microservices in your application. Now let's jump into a demo. We have a microservices recipe that I've created. If you want to learn how to create recipes and workspaces, I have a video that you can check. Put a link in the description. So here with this microservices recipe, as you can see, it has a few things that it's doing, mostly adding a few packages, cloning this particular repo here. We'll assume this is our microservices application that we're going to work with. It's created by Google. We'll see more about that in just a little bit. And here's a command to install kubectl. Here's another command to install scaffold that we'll use very shortly, and installing Docker into our environment and updating the Docker group as well so that we can run Docker directly without having to use sudo. Now let's go ahead and launch an IDE. And first of all, let's run DZ and workspace list to see our workspaces through the CLI. I see it right here. Let's go ahead and run DZ workspace cursor. This time I'm going to use the cursor IDE instead of Visual Studio Code with this particular workspace. And here we go. Cursor opens up. And if you're wondering about cursor, I've started to move towards it. It's amazing in terms of how you can use it with the chat on the side here. It's really good with auto completion, and it has AI built in. So I really enjoy cursor now. I'm glad that DevZero has support for cursor as well. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this repo. And we see that this is called the Online Boutique Microservices Demo Application by Google. They have a few services or microservices that are built in different languages. In this case, we have the front end written in Go, cart service, and a few other services that we're going to work with. All right, so that looks great. Let's go ahead and run kubectl get pods. We see our pod here. And one thing to note is that when you start a workspace for free, you get a Kubernetes cluster, which is amazing. And you can see the nodes here as well. So let's clear. And now I'm going to change my directory into my microservices directory here where I have all my files. And there's this scaffold.yaml file that allows us to run in dev mode and launch all our services so we can directly interact with them and make changes on the fly. To run this, all we need to do is go ahead and run scaffold dev default repo is ttl.sh. This will take a little bit of time the first time you run it to create all the services, the deployments. You can see here what it's doing. So it's calling or building a bunch of images from this source folder here. The source folder has all the microservices, and each one of those microservices has a Docker file. And so the Docker file is getting built right as we speak at the moment. From a deployment perspective, we are using Kustomize, and the path of Kustomize is Kubernetes manifests at the very top here. Kubernetes manifests, and you can see all the manifests here for each one of our microservices. Now at the bottom here, we already see that we are up and running, and these are the logs at the moment. What we can do is open a new tab, kubectl get pods, and I can see that all my microservices are up and running inside of my development environment. And if you run htop, for example, you'll see we have plenty of resources that we can run with, and it's in the cloud. It's elastic. It can increase and decrease depending on what we're doing. So now let's go ahead and port forward our front-end microservice to show you what this application looks like. And we're going to do that with the address flagged for all IP addresses. And that way, this allows us to access it from within our DevZero environment. All we need to do is open a browser window, put special Martin AOZB. So this one right here, let's copy that and use port 8088, and we should be good to go. So let's open a new browser window right here. Put this like that, port 8088. Here we go. We got our online boutique. We got a few products, as you can see here, and we can click on any one of them. Hot products, sunglasses. We see this at $49.98. We can change the price. That's what we're going to do right now. And we can see the different currencies. We can change a currency. So let's leave it at US dollars. And each one of these functionalities is tied to a microservice. Let's make a quick change. Let's pretend that I'm a developer right now and I'm working on one of our microservices. In this case, let's work on the product catalog service. So in here, if you notice, it's written in Golang. There's this JSON file called product.json where it pulls information from here. So you can see that the price of our sunglasses is $49. Let's make it a little bit more expensive. Let's call it, let's say $109.99. Let's go ahead and see that once I don't even have to save with cursor, it automatically saves the file. And if you notice in the running terminal with all the logs, it's already building my Docker file directly based on the change that I just made, and it's going to deploy the application directly. We can see that if we open a new terminal and run a watch command with kubectl get pods, very quickly see that our product catalog service is going to change. You can see here waiting for deployments to stabilize. We can now see that the deployment is done and was pushed. Let's take a look at the watch command we saw right there. It's now running 7 seconds. If we go back to our front end and refresh here, and notice sometimes this won't work because we have to actually rerun the port forwarding. Refresh this, and now we see our sunglasses at $109.99. So that really shows you how you can use DevZero in a microservices development environment to spin up a replica of all your microservices so that they can all work together at the same time. Even if you might be a development team only focusing on one of those microservices, you need to be able to see them all working together to make a change in one of those particular microservices. DevZero really shines when it comes to allowing you to do that by, again, creating a recipe, creating a workspace that can be used by multiple developers in multiple teams. No more having to worry about creating all of that on your local machine. It's all in the cloud for you, so you can speed up your development, and no more, hey, it worked on my machine. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.